welcome to OEGlobal Tour, which is the second day of the tour. The OEGlobal Tours are pretty much a series of events that we are organizing over a period of 3 days and culminating on Friday, which is the fourth day, that focus on open education developments in different regions of the world. And so on Tuesday, we started the first day of the tour, which was focusing on Middle East and Asia, or Australasia as well. And it was a fantastic tour. We had a really lovely plethora of speakers from different parts of the world. And today we are continuing with the Europe tour, of which you are all part of. And then in the afternoon, we are going to continue with the Africa tour. And towards the end of this specific event, we are also going to tell you what's next. Thank you all for joining. You are now part of the OEGlobal Europe tour. And we are just all really happy to welcome you here. And I hope that you can hear the sound. Yes, you can hear the sound. Excellent. So, something is working. Excellent. And this specific session, or this specific tour, this European tour, is being co-organized together with my colleague Perrine de Coëtlogon, who is also the president of the board of directors of Open Education Global, and is also from the University of Lille in France, and is also co-leading the OEG Francophone initiative, which Lucie, one of our speakers here from the University of Nantes, is going to be speaking about. Myself, my name is Igor Lesko. I am a co-executive director at Open Education Global. I'm originally from Slovakia, but I live in South Africa for the past 25 years. And my colleague here, Jan Gondol, is our director of technology from Slovakia, and he's also working at Open Education Global. So the three of us are basically crafting this day for you. And we also have our other colleague, who is Ayla Hadov-Flood, connecting from South Africa, and she's the director of communications. So welcome to all of you. Just to let you know that this specific tour, OEGlobal Tour, is organized by Open Education Global. And Open Education Global, we've got some new attendees in the audience, so we just want to tell you that a little bit about who we are. We are an international non-profit organization and also member-based organization dedicated to advancing open education worldwide. By open education, just very briefly, we are referring to different forms of teaching and learning practices as they are supported by openly licensed content or open educational resources. Our worldwide activities in open education are structured within the 3 main pillars of our strategic plan, and that includes field building, knowledge exchange, and value co-creation. And within these 3 main strategic pillars, we focus, one of our primary focuses is on building and supporting communities of practice regionally and globally. And that's through the events that we organize, or the regional or thematic networks that we coordinate or help support, and many other events, including our conferences, Open Education Week, which is an annual event as well. So we have got different regional nodes that we support. So that includes the Community College Consortium for Open Educational Resources in North America. Then we also have the Latin American region, a Latin American node, which is focusing on Latin American countries. We also have thematic nodes. So in this particular case, that includes OEG Francophone, Open Education Global Francophone, which our board president Perrine here is advancing together with Lucie and others. And that focuses on advancing open education in French-speaking countries. So thematically, not necessarily geographically, but mostly thematically. And then we also support what we call the Network of Open Orgs, which was formed in 2019 in response to the adoption of the UNESCO 2019 recommendation on OER. And this is a collective of organizations that are getting together on a monthly basis, discussing areas of mutual interest, projects that we should be kind of collaborating on together. And this also serves as a sort of knowledge exchange mechanism for these organizations. The members are Creative Commons, Spark Europe. We have got UNESCO as well that is part of it, and many others, including many organizations from the US and OER Africa as well. And just maybe some of the other events that we work on that you should be aware of, this Open Education Week, which is also an annual celebration of open education developments worldwide that typically happens in March each year. The next one is going to be obviously in 2026, and we are going to talk about this towards the end of this specific session. We also do open education and global conferences. And then also Open Education Awards for Excellence. So this is important here because this is also like an annual recognition of projects, practices, and exemplary leaders and educators in the open education space. And these tours that we are organizing this week, they actually have a mix of presenters that are coming from the nominees of Open Education Awards for Excellence as well. So in this particular tour, for example, we are having 3 nominees or three initiatives or people who have been nominated for Open Education Awards for Excellence. And these are interwoven within each of those sessions during the week. On Friday, we are going to announce the winners of this year's Open Education Awards for Excellence. So that's something that you should definitely stay tuned for. It's going to be at 5 p.m. Central UTC, which is going to be 7 p.m., I believe, Central European time. Okay. So this is just a little bit of an overview of what we do. Just so you have a better understanding of what Open Education Global is about. But of course, we are not doing this work alone. We are doing all of this work together with our extensive network of members and partners. It's in over 60 different countries of the world. We are really thankful for the presence of the sustaining members that we have in our midst. For example, today we also have TU Delft, which is a sustaining member of Open Education Global. We also have Open Education France, and we've got representatives from that circles here as well, and that's also a sustaining member of Open Education Global. And we also have individual supporters. So collectively, we are talking about 400 plus organizations and individuals in over 60 countries worldwide. For those who are interested in becoming members, either institutionally or individually, please get in touch with us during the sessions or after these sessions. And now I think I'm going to hand over to our board president, Perrine de Coëtlogon, Perrine has been with Open Education Global for a number of years, and she has been joining us as the board representative. And now for the past couple of years has been elected the president of the board of directors, but she's also at the Lille Université, and she's also leading the OEG Francophone, and she's leading many other things in France that she can introduce herself. But Perrine is going to be the moderator for this specific panel that we are going to start off with. Just to let you know, the panels that we are organizing during each tour are supposed to provide an orientation into the region. So each region, each tour basically is asking the panelists to reflect on 3 specific questions. We understand that conversation could go on for a couple of hours very easily on each of those. So please treat this as conversation starters. And these conversations then can also continue post-event in OEG Connect. And for our participants who are here, who are not members of the panel, feel free to reflect on those questions in the chat as well yourselves. I'm going to stop sharing while we are having the panel so that you can all see yourselves in the screen, and I'm going to hand over to Perrine to take over.
Good morning, everyone. I think you have heard my name, but let's say it again, Perrine de Coëtlogon. So I'm based in Europe, in France, at the University of Lille, in my city of Roubaix. And I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to speak with many Europeans who are, like me, absolutely convinced that open education can change the world into better. And for those who don't know and come here for the first time, I just remind you that open educational resources are the base of education. It's a way to share our knowledge and also at higher education level, the best knowledge on a scientific basis. So it's about copy-paste a course with the authorization of the author so that the users can reuse it, share it in his classroom, in their classrooms, or online, update it, translate it. And this is thanks to the internet, of course. So these very simple ideas is about opening lights of hopes in the time we live in. And I am glad we are all here together to remind people what is currently happening in Europe. So as I'm based in France, and before giving the floor to Willem, my past president of the board of the organization. I will just say that in France, there is a K-12 strategy on openness for education that will be presented in the snapshots by Alexis Kaufmann, and that we also are working at higher education level on a strategy that will work together with the French open science strategy. So it's a great achievement, and it's now I will be, for example, myself interviewed on Friday by the people in charge at higher education level. So thank you again to be all here. I hope that we keep in touch in OEG Connect or through the Open Education Week, first week of March, to reconnect another time with you who are in the panel or in the snapshot, but with many other Europeans. Willem, I'm so glad to see you. We met again on my expertise on blockchain technologies in June in Delft. Please present yourself and tell us more about how open education is doing in your institution, region, country, and as you see it in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you, Perrine. Just to clarify, should I limit myself to the first question next to my introduction, or should I answer all three? That's
no, you are all free to react to the three questions that we asked, and please, and just be mindful of the time. We are 10 minutes.
Okay.
Each of you have 10 minutes. Thank you.
So good morning, everyone. Great to see many familiar faces and names I already see. My name is Willem van Valkenburg. I'm the director of the TU Delft Learning for Life Center. And we're responsible for all learning, lifelong learning activities of my university, Delft University of Technology. In the past, I've been president of OEGlobal, so it's always fun to do something again. And I've been involved with open education since 2006 within my university, and also with OCW consortium, what it was in that time. So already for many years working in this field. The question we had, and I think Igor posted it, is the one sentence of why open education is relevant in our region. And I was thinking about that, and the one sentence I came up is I think that education in continental Europe, I'm saying sorry for the UK people, is mostly seen as a public good. And open education aligns greatly with this principle of it's a public good and that we need to share and make sure that it is accessible. And I think that's for me one of the core things. And an example there is actually a project that's nominated for the OEGlobal Award this year of my university, and that's it's a collaboration between my university and the National Council of Vocational Education and a couple of other organizations, and it's really focusing on we created a MOOC that's openly licensed. And together with a group of teachers from vocational teachers, we actually use the materials to make resources available for their students. So a completely different audience than we originally made it for. But in the way we work together, we brought in from our research the latest innovations on building with timber, as it's called. And they added the really practical things to it, and also translated it to the Dutch, because their vocational students are much more Dutch students. And that also working together also actually gave us things back that we actually can use to improve the MOOC that we're offering and use it for our own students. So I think that's a great example of, because it's open, we can reuse it, repurpose it, and enrich the materials also for a different audience. And I think that is for me the real core of open education. More in general, I do see that although open education aligns with the public goods philosophy, we also see the challenges. I think many universities currently are facing budget cuts. Not as severe as some of the US universities, but I think in many European countries we have to deal with it. And then you get the discussion, hey, if there's no money, why do we need to share more? And then that discussion is also happening in my university, but I hear that in many universities. And that's where I think we have to show what's the impact of open education. I think that is key. And the impact is for students, it's for teachers, it's for the universities as a whole, but it's also for society. And making content more broadly available, let others who don't have access to education, let them learn and use the content. I think that's really important. And I think what is key in these times is that we make sure that we also influence the policymakers. I know Perrine is doing that very good job in France with that. We in the Netherlands we've been doing that also for many years, and many national programs now have been running for many years. And I think that is key to continue to that effort, because if we stop, open education will go down, and that's not what we want. And then, of course, we also have the pink elephant in the room, and that's AI. I would say with open education, on one side, great opportunities. One of the things we've done is, for example, we translated one of our courses from English to French with AI. Great opportunity to make content more accessible, more broadly available to a larger audience. The other side is of course, you also see that those AI people are using our open content to make money, and are not looking at our copyrights and things like that. And that's there's a tension there, and I don't have a solution there, but it's certainly something that's important. And there is, I think I want to stop for now. I will leave it to the next one.
Thank you so much, Willem. Indeed, AI is about copyright, and the fact that we know about copyright is also an advantage in open education, because most people just don't have that competence, and we all agree that it's better that AI has good contents also, in order to not too much bias the results. So I know some teacher who tell me it's so important that we contribute to participate to AI in order to have the best content, despite it's also about stealing work from OpenAI. So let's get aware and focus on this subject. So thank you very much for this first scene. I will now give the floor to Markus Deimann. Markus?
Yes, good morning from my side. I'm Markus. I lead the statewide OER infrastructure ORCA in North Rhine-Westphalia. ORCA stands for Open Resource Campus. It's an infrastructure project, but also a network bringing together a public university in the west part of Germany. And I work at the intersection of policy, technology, and pedagogy. And in my work, I aim to strengthen open education, so not just OER, but from a wider perspective, not just a technical solution, but as a democratic project within public higher education. Because Willem just mentioned the big elephant AI, I think there's another big elephant, which is the rise of right-wing authoritarianism all over the world, also in Germany. And okay, so I will stick to the question, maybe also to save time for the other panelists. So the next question, which was posed to me, is why is open education relevant in your country? So of course it is relevant. It challenged the logic of our federal education system. So in Germany, we have 16 counties and each is in charge of education. So which means it's very decentralized, very pragmatic. And with OER, we can overcome barriers and cross cross counties. And then I was asked to share a specific open education project, and I choose to present to you a network which is called the OER network in Germany, no surprise. And in this networks, we have 10 out of 16 counties together. So this refers back to my first statement that we have this highly fragmented system. So we are working at bringing together, like here in this beautiful, wonderful event from all over the world. We are trying to do the same on a much lower level in Germany with the fragmented landscape. And we try to bring together these institutions who are in charge, like in my case, ORCA. There are in other counties and other Bundesländer for the German-speaking folks. So we have several mandated organizations. They are publicly funded from their regional ministry, and we bring them together. And we do events. We had one in Berlin in June, and then a public event, and then we do a lot of internal networks, so to exchange information and also to work on policy issues. So we have in these events also representatives from the ministry. And so on a minor level, we are also trying to influence policymakers. And the challenge is, of course, to sustain the cooperation beyond the project cycle, because OER in Germany is volatile. It's also agile, but it's also volatile. So we are depending on the financial input from the ministry. And in times of changing agendas like AI, or cybersecurity, then we are especially in my case in North Rhine-Westphalia, there was a big debate on cybersecurities, and then we have less money for OER. And the last question: what does the future of open education look like in our country region? So it's more of a personal statement. For me, I would like to see a future of open education which tries to integrate its principles or its philosophy, its values into the workflows of public education. This means moving beyond isolated pilot projects, so to have sustained financial stream and also long-term cooperation, and embedding openness as a value into the daily routines, digital infrastructures, and institutional strategies of teaching and learning. So open education should not be an exception or an add-on, but a core element of education and a signature for our hopefully still democratic society. With this said, I will hand over back to you, Perrine, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Markus, and thank you for your enthusiasm. Of course, open education is something that really make us feel better and good, and this is in action that we will overcome all the white elephant in the rooms that we spoke about since the beginning of this webinar. I am very, very pleased to welcome Lucie Grasset from Nantes University. She will present herself, but we have been collaborating a lot on OEG Francophone since she has arrived 2 years ago. And she's not only another enthusiastic person, but she's also excellent in communication. So I leave you the floor, Lucie.
Thank you.
Happy to see you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this invitation. I'm very glad to be here as a panelist to discuss about what we have been done in the French context and French-speaking context, also as a member of the Open Education Global Francophone. So I'm Lucie Grasset. I'm from Nantes University, but also I'm working in a UNESCO share on open education resources and AI, shared by Colin de la and together with 6 other persons in the share, but also at Nantes University, I'm pleased to be in a place where open education is a key policy, and actually we have a whole strategy on open education here in Nantes, and we have the only university so far in France to have this open education strategy. So I'm currently in the right place here to and specifically in this right place. So to answer to your first question, why open education is relevant in your region, is that those in the introduction Perrine has been done previously. It's actually a subject that is handled by our ministries. Both the Ministry of Education, we will listen to the presentation of Alexis Kaufmann. He will tell us about the Forge project, but also for the high level, I mean, in the higher education as well, handled by Luc Massou. So this is actually now matured and handled by our policies. So in order to share, it was difficult for me to answer to the second question, to identify one specific open education project to share with you. But at the end, I decided to share with you a project we handled previously during the Open Education Week in March in 2025. This project was a campaign entitled "The 23 Good Reasons to Adopt Open Education." We handled this project. To think about this project, especially Colin had the idea in January 2025 and decided to actually propose and offer this project to the different networks we are connected to. Because even as I mentioned before, Nantes University is really engaged in open education, but also European alliances, UniWell, that gather different 11 university in Europe on well-being. Open education is part of a work package of these alliances. So we add also this network of European partners. So both this work in France, handled by, the share, UNESCO share, and this European network, European alliances, but also a largest network. We started a unity with UNESCO share. So it's a network of different share on open education called So I will share with you the links right after the conversation. This network started, it's a young network for 4 years, and gathers partners from Europe, but also from all over the world. Like I mentioned in the participant, Glenda Cox is one of our members, for instance. So all those networks, I mean, we decided to propose the project to write an article about one good reason to adopt open education. And within the 2 days, I mean, the whole network was so enthusiastic to write about those good reasons in order to provide like, I mean, a lot of, we need to advocate. This is what you shared with different, I mean, different contexts. We need to convince our politicians. We need to convince even our colleague about adopting open education, because we cannot do it by ourselves. So to write about those good reasons was among, for instance, what you mentioned, Willem, as open education as a public good was one of the reasons. Open education to translate and locate the localization is also one of the good reasons. So, but there are 23 good reasons so far, but there are more. I mean, we need to continue on this project. But it was, I mean, really, and this project was also, I mean, we managed to have to publish one article during, not the week was not enough, so we decided to do the whole month, to publish one article per day during the whole month of March. And Open Education Global also was really supporting on this campaign. So that was about what was I really wanted to share with you. It was about this project. And I think I still have some time to discuss about the third point. What does the future of open education look like in your country and region? This is really interesting. I don't want to repeat what you already said, William and Markus, because it was really relevant. I just want to point out that I'm working on UNESCO on both open education resources and AI. And those two subjects, when the chair has been created, was not that relevant, because it was before November 22. Before the launch of OpenAI and its chat, I mean, and ChatGPT. So it was not, I mean, those two subjects, the UNESCO was not, well, it doesn't match. Usually open education should be in that place, and things like AI should be in different place, but it was like very something that's really Colin de I want to put together. And it's today is also, I want to share with you an article that's been written by 3 people, maybe you know, and are among also the participants. It's I just share it with you on the box. It's a UNESCO. It's an article about the open education principle to resist to the matrix of AI black boxes. So it has been written by Tel Amiel, Glenda Cox, and Colin de So I share with you the article because I think it's really important to see how open education can help us to what the AI is bringing as a challenges to us. And there are principles in open education that should be applied to AI when we discuss about education, and about the sustainability of our education system, and the fact that we need to, for instance, to have access to our material, educational resource material, and also to fight against what the open washing also of those of the AI system. We need to open the black box, and we need to make it accessible in different contexts, because we need to adapt this technology that is actually I mean, only the more powerful, or more, the one who have money actually invest. But it has to be accessible to anyone and any culture in any language as well. So I don't want to go out to my to the, but just want to share with this article. Feel free to read it, and there's also a translation of this article on our blog. I will share it with you right now in French, but because also, as I mentioned before, the share also work on the open education with global Francophone, and the Francophone and the French speaking are also all over the world. So that connects us to Africa, Canada, and other different regions as well. So, well, I hope, I don't know if you have any question.
No, this is perfect, Lucie. Thank you so much. And you are doing so many various thematics at Nantes University. It's very impressive. Of course, I think of Colin, who cannot be with us today because he's in India, Noumea. So he does kind of a world tour on himself. So he's not joining on Open Education Global World Tour, but you are. Thank you. And indeed, Glenda Cox, who is another board member of Open Education at Open Education Global, based in South Africa, but for 6 months in Bristol in the UK, is there to tell us maybe more. And she will be also moderating this afternoon in Africa for the African tour. So please keep tuned for those who are following. I give the floor now to Sandra Schön from the University of Graz in Austria.
Thanks a lot. Yes, I'm Sandra from Graz, which is, and globally speaking, not the country that you know with the kangaroos. We are the mountains and the skiing country. And globally, I have to add here as well, as Willem as well started, I think open education generally is not a key word or term used in Austria. But of course, key concepts are in a way implemented in our considerations about education. Concretely said, we have free education for kids in schools and in public universities. So the tuition fees are very small. So this might be one of the more important first insights into what is going on in Austria as a European country compared with other parts of the world. But additionally, we have as well as open educational resources. This term is very prominent compared with other technical digital developments in Austria in the field of teacher education as well in the field of universities. Prominently, I have to share, or I can share, I'm proud to be able to share that we do have an open science policy since 3 years now, where OER is highlighted as one of the 3 key parts, where we are very happy. And additionally, the ministry funds our national MOOC platform since several years now. So we do have a national platform for online courses. And they are not only for free, all these courses provided by universities have Creative Commons license. And most of them have open online license provided by Creative Commons. And I think a very unique thing I have to share about Austria is that we have implemented successfully an OER certification. So people and as well university, higher education institutions can apply for an OER certificate. People can show OER competences with that, and universities can show that they have sort of IT infrastructures or OER infrastructures like as an OER policy. I will share a presentation in the chat where you can find more details and existing publications about what is going on concerning OER in Austria. I'm not sure if I should try to figure out as well other questions, or if you want to use some time to as well exchange at the panel.
Do you want to reflect more? So it seems to be already a kind of strategy. If there is such a repository and an OER certification, we are all very interested about.
Okay, so of course I have to share as well as nevertheless we have a nicer kind of infrastructure, but we have the same problems and challenges like Willem said. We have less public funds for education and science. We can currently experience that in the field of artificial intelligence. We needed a lot of money here to invest and go on, and it's not there. So challenges are similar, and of course, very basic infrastructure is still not there to make it prominently. We don't have an OER repositories for schools and teaching. So we have online repositories for educational material, but not really related and with some Creative Commons added value. So there's many open issues nevertheless. Concerning policy and within a global network, I should highlight eventually that I see for Europe specifically, because we have the open science policies and developments, for me, a good anchor. So currently in Austria, at least from the university perspective, everything is connected to open science, where OER plays a bigger role. So for example, at TU Graz, we will implement a PhD module for open science, where OER is implemented next summer semester, and we are happy to be able to share that already. And we have another important argument which we use more and more, which is digital sovereignty. So for us, since we have some international developments which are not as nice from a European perspective as well, I think from a global as well, we consider that we need really European infrastructures concerning IT and as well OER. And a last note, because I think everyone has made some comments on artificial intelligence. We are pretty happy at TU Graz that we host the national MOOC platform iMOOCs, because there we do have a lot of materials that can be officially used for AI applications, like such as chatbots and so. So happily we can officially, so we are allowed to use these materials because they are open educational resources to use as a service embedded in the system as well. So we do not really roll that out everywhere. It's just currently piloted for some single MOOCs, but generally we are pretty happy that we have already a lot of OER which can be used for AI applications as well.
That's very interesting too, Sandra. When I think of Europe, that within the European Union we are 27th. I wished Paola Corti, who is also member of the board from Politecnico di Milano in Italia, could have been with us. And there are many other countries. I just wanted to underline that despite we are doing really well, sometimes at national level, sometimes within our own institutions, we all think it's time also at the European Commission level to re-endorse the Open Education report that have been launched in 2016, 2017, which were really interesting. It was 2 reports from the GRC Center. And I hope, because many of us are now joining today, that we will be able to have this kind of action, of policy action, and go to the Directorate for Education and Culture and the Employment Directorate too. So let's think of it. On the open science, it's true that many of us have already an open science strategy. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm thinking of a tool to be able to learn on a lifelong basis and to store your certificates. It is called Open Education Wallets. And through this, I am being incubed here in France. And I heard people, you know, who know research but are not at university anymore, telling me, oh, yes, open science has improved things a lot, you know, to have access to research article. So, I mean, the citizens see what we're doing. I'm happy to share this with you. I hope we will find more and more people, you know, supporting our missions. Thank you so much, Sandra. Igor?
Thank you very much, Perrine, and thank you very much to everybody else. It was really wonderful to hear your perspectives, Lucie, Willem, Markus, and Sandra. Really amazing perspectives, and I'm really impressed with this OER certification program as well that you've described, Sandra. And I think that this perspectives on policymakers and what resonates with policymakers or strategies, how policymakers can support openness, that's also quite interesting to hear about. I think also what you've mentioned, Sandra, with the national sort of open science strategy and, you know, how you managed to kind of incorporate OER as an argument within this other framework, policy framework. So that perhaps also deserves some discussion, perhaps not if during today's panel, then even afterwards. I've just provided a link in the chat for additional conversations. What are the kinds of strategies that resonate with policymakers to basically, for lack of a better word, plug in openness nowadays? Yeah, it's not for openness for the sake of openness, but to address specific challenges or opportunities. Yeah, and so what are the kinds of arguments, the advocacy messages that we can use as a community to advance the cause with the policymaking community, and what do the policymaking community require or need from us to support them in that process. So systematic evidence about the impact of open education, for example, is one of those that we keep hearing consistently. And these are the sorts of issues that we could continue reflecting on over the coming weeks post the OEGlobal Tours. Yeah. So thank you very much, everybody. And thank you very much, Perrine, as well, for your skillful moderation. We really appreciate your time and invite you to continue reflecting on those issues on OEG Connect Spaces. I'm going to go back to sharing the slides now. And just one thing that I would like to mention that I forgot to do at the beginning, actually, is that we have got 3 interesting activities for you all. And one of them is basically to put what we call the put open education on the map. And so we would like to know where you are coming from. We have got, so please scan the QR code and follow the steps under the instructions and let us know where you're coming from. Drop a pin, and we are going to be sharing like a nice overview of a map, like a global map of where the participants were connecting from after this session. Yeah, we have got already some nice pins being dropped all over the world. And so I'm going to stop here for a few seconds. You can pull out your cameras, your phones, point them to the QR code, and you can engage with this activity. Otherwise, we are also going to drop the URL links for these activities in the chat window. Yeah, so this is one of the activities. And then also, this is also a fun activity, you know, when people go and they travel around the world, typically what do they do, or what they used to do? Well, not so much nowadays, send postcards. Yeah. And believe it or not, people still appreciate postcards nowadays. I'm one of those who is still buying postcards when I travel somewhere, and I send them to selected few. So this is something that we would like to also encourage with the attendees of the European tour and any other tour. You can scan the QR code as well, and then you can follow the steps to create a specific postcard, and then you can upload it online and share it with the community. There have been some really wonderful postcards being shared already by the participants on OEG Connect. So we invite you to peruse those. And then finally, Part of this event is what we call also an open education knowledge landmark. So as we are traveling through different parts of the world, and that's where the analogy is, right? So people would be taking photos of specific landmarks, for example, as your travelers. So in this case, as we are touring different regions, we would like to find out about what's going on in terms of open education activities in different countries within the specific region, for example, interesting resources that are being published there, or interesting events that are going to be taking place. So this is something that is perhaps the most important activity of all within this tour, the world that we are doing. So we would really like to encourage you, and we would like you to encourage others that you know in your community to basically contribute to this specific collection of resources and events in different countries or regions worldwide. Again, there is a QR code that you can scan. It's a fairly simple form that can be filled out. When we are done with the tour around the world, we are going to start consolidating all of these resources, and we are obviously going to issue several calls during these upcoming weeks to contribute additional resources by the community, and we are hoping to share this out as an open resource with the community together with a report of the tour towards the end of the year. Okay. So that's about it, and thank you very much again to the panelists and to Perrine for skillful moderation. And this is now going to be the second part of the session, where we are going to have some interesting presentations, what we call snapshot talks, and these are really lightning talks, basically up to 5 minutes each. And we are going to have 5 presenters. Some of them come from the pool of panelists already today. We are having Efe Kayrasoğlu from Turkey. We are having again Sandra Schön from Graz University of Technology in Austria. Then we have Julia Baniekevich from the Research Council of Lithuania in Lithuania. And then we have Alexis Kaufmann, who is from the French Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. And then we have got Joran here, Mus Merlotz from Joran and Concerten in Germany. Each of those are going to be doing a short presentation of up to 5 minutes. They have all prepared their slides. We are also expecting Alexis to join us from the French Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, and we have a thumbs up. But just in case, we also have skillful representatives here on, like Perrine, for example, who can also talk about the project, just in case Alexis encounters any challenges. So I'm going to now hand over to Efe, who is also nominated for the Open Education Awards for Excellence in the Leadership Category Award. And Efe is now the senior. He's 16-year-old in a high school. And Efe, please let us know about your specific initiatives that you have been working on.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Is everything in check? All right, great. Well, I'm Efe. I'm 16, as has been previously stated. I'm based in Turkey. I'm a youth trainer and a peer educator in Understanding Europe, an organization that promotes active citizenship among high school students. And I'm the creator of an award-winning project called Connecting Through Sustainability, which itself is a youth platform dedicated to fostering citizenship, inclusion, and social awareness. Before introducing my project, I think we're moving too fast. I had just one slide for all these. Right. Before introducing my project, I would like to tell that I'm truly honored to be here today. I'm deeply grateful to be included in such an important event as one of the youngest participants. I mean, to me, this inclusion reflects what open education truly stands for: an initiative that values the thoughts of the youth, that works for the future of the youth with the youth, placing participation, inclusion, and collaboration at its core. So thank you guys very much. All right, now I'd like to share a bit about my project. Connecting Through Sustainability was born from a simple question: how can youth events go beyond their doors to connect with local non-governmental organizations and raise awareness on sustainability issues around them? And also, how can we encourage young people to not just learn, but act on the real problems they see around them? Because I believe that if you're aware of the problem, you are responsible for contributing to the solution. I realized that while young participants, often high school students, are aware of major global issues such as climate change, democracy, or social justice, they rarely have the opportunity to engage directly with real change makers who work on these every day. And that is how Connecting Through Sustainability began, as an open, adaptable framework that encourages participants to collaborate with local NGOs, sustainability projects, and community leaders wherever their events take place. Through this project, participants don't just debate about sustainability, they experience it. They learn from local actors, exchange ideas, and bring those lessons back to their own communities. This model can be freely implemented at any youth event, regardless of its size or country, making it both accessible and inclusive. I won the European Youth Parliament's Climate Youth Action Plan Idea Competition and received €1,000 funding to implement my project in one of the UIP events. I made my pilot implementation in Winter Tour Switzerland, and it was from April 4th to 6th. And with the support of the inspiring Daniel Lucie from the NGO My Blue Planet, which creates innovative strategies to promote a more climate-friendly life in Switzerland, we had a ton of fun doing that. An outcome report of this pilot is published and is available online if you're interested in learning more. Now, I believe that my project truly aligns with the principles of open education. It is participatory, transparent, voluntary, and collaborative. It breaks barriers between formal and non-formal learning, between youth dialogue and local action. Everyone involved in the project, young people, educators, NGO workers, and community members, contribute, they adapt, and they learn together. Most importantly, Connecting Through Sustainability supports access to quality education for all by democratizing sustainability education. It empowers young people to become active contributors to sustainable developments in their local area and see themselves as part of a larger global effort for positive change. I see this initiative as planting a small seed, a seed of awareness and volunteerism and determination that, when nurtured, grows into lasting connections and shared action for a more sustainable and inclusive future. Thank you very much for listening to me and helping make open education truly open for everyone, regardless of their age or location.
Thank you very much, Efe. This is really impressive, and I think it's well, I would just like to say, like, it's really impressive to see young leaders such as yourself and people who are still studying as well, making such big impact within your communities and worldwide. So really well done. And I would like to also encourage everyone, if you have questions for Efe, please post them in the chat window. There is also a specific space on OEG Connect that was created for Efe's initiative, so you can also engage with him directly there. My colleague Jan here is going to be posting links there in the chat window, in the chat window. So please engage with Efe on that note there. Thank you very much, Efe. Thank you for joining us today. And now we are going to hand over to Sandra Schön, again from Austria. Sandra, the floor is yours.
Yeah, congrats to Efe. Thanks a lot. So here as well, I just started to show you some of the key milestones from the Austrian development, just to highlight again that we have a national MOOC platform, an OER hub, which is a repository, and the certification. I added some notes into the chat because there was some further questions on this. Currently, we have 5 certified universities and more than 260 people who can name themselves as OER practitioner, which is the official title of that certificate. And I'm happy to share more details. But for today, I selected another project presented at the next slide. At TU Graz, I work in a university alliance, which is very common currently in Europe. So we have more than 60 currently university alliances where universities work together to align their strategies, like joint programs and so more. And within that university collaboration, we made an OER course, so a course about OER as a MOOC, so an open online course, together with our 9 partners. Each of these, this MOOC is translated into all 9 languages spoken in our collaboration. And additionally, we as well found partners who made a Turkish, an Arabic, and an Indonesian version. And this was not possible because people invested time and effort on this. We as well use some AI tools so that we have speaking avatars. And of course, you are all invited to just use or reuse the MOOC. It is as well, of course, open licensed. I would love to see some French people have a glimpse into our French version, for example, or people who might spread the word to our international colleagues, like concerning this Arabic, Turkish, and specifically the Indonesian version, which is tremendously to have a look on when you see my avatar talking in Indonesian. But I would like to use some minutes, at least some seconds, to as well share what it looks like, to give you a feeling for that, how it looks as if my avatar is speaking other languages. So in my personal window, you might now see in some seconds a video.
Welcome to the online course on the topic of open educational resources.
This online course was developed under the direction of Martin Ebner and Sandra Schön from TU Graz.
The course was developed in the project Unite OER Courses project together with all partners of the European University Alliance Unite. All content is offered in several languages. To make this work, we both work with our virtual avatars.
Hi.
Hey.
Bonne journée.
Welcome.
Dobry dzień.
Isso é divertido.
Anche in italiano.
Benvingut.
Viel Spaß. In the language selection, you will find all languages. We hope you enjoy trying it out with us to see how well it works. We have developed this MOOC for you, and I would like to briefly explain the principle. The course lasts 4 weeks or is divided into...
So I would like to stop here, and of course we are happy if you would like to have a glimpse or register for that course, or you reuse it for your own university courses, teacher trainings, and so on. Happy to receive some feedback. It is not only translated, we as well try to adapt it to the country repositories and so on. So beside the videos, which are more or less the same, we as well provide, of course, we try to provide national relevant links and PDFs and so on as well. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, Sandra. That's amazing work again. And yes, I think that why I like this specific initiative also is also because it clearly embodies one of the values associated with openness, open education, right, which is collaboration. So thank you for instilling this within the project. And certainly at some point, we would like to hear a little bit more about your lessons learned from this kind of collaborative approach. I think that I've seen a link to one of your papers that you have published about this specific process that outlines what the collaboration entailed and how it was done. So if I could maybe ask you to please post that message in the chat window, that would be helpful for the participants to reflect on. Yeah?
I do, of course.
Merci. Dankeschön. Okay, we are now having another speaker who is Julia from the Lithuania Research Council, and I'm going to stop sharing here because Julia has asked me if I could give her the privileges to do a presentation on her own. Okay, so Julia, please share your screen.
Can you see it now?
It's loading. There you go. All good.
Yes, and it's in the presenter mode, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So just this. Okay, so hello everyone. It's a big honor to be together with all open education global community on behalf of Research Council of Lithuania today. And my name is Julia Bunikevich, and I am here not to talk only about the goals and projects, but also to share a story about how small country is building a culture of open science, open education, where collaboration and trust are shaping the future of research. So Lithuania is a small country, as you can see on the map. It's in the heart of Europe, but with we are small, but dreaming big and in open ways. So Lithuania hosts 30 higher education institutions and 16 research institutes, forming a robust ecosystem for learning and discovery. And together, they publish over 200 journals, most of them open access, because we believe that knowledge should belong to everyone. But of course, we are talking like it seems like openness, it's very easy for us. No, that's not. And openness brings challenges, and our community continues to debate ethics, quality, and research integrity. And as well, we are not limiting openness only to academia. So in Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania, education has literally moved outdoors. So Vilnius as open school initiative turns every street, park, museum into a classroom. Because openness for us means learning from the world by living it. And when curiosity becomes culture, innovation follows. So this is how Research Council of Lithuania became part of Opus project, Open and Universal Science. The project that was funded under European Commission Horizon Europe program, and which was goal to reform assessment of research by rewarding collaboration, sharing, and openness, not only citations, because mostly like researchers are awarded by citations. So 18 partners across the Europe connected together, and we became one of the partners. And our participating here started with a question. So what if we open science? What if we open education? What if we make it more open? So what comes next? And through Opus, this transformative initiative, the Research Council of Lithuania launched a national pilot to strengthen open science practices and reform how researchers are evaluated. So, but we didn't know how powerful this movement can become. So when the Research Council last year approached me around June, there was really in the project, in Lithuanian side, there was a crisis. Due to staff changes, this was really not so many to show, and there was a report coming, and partners were a little bit disappointed, and from Europe, and they said, look, if you are not changing anything, so you know this is not our way to do. So then they show me that it's very difficult, will be very difficult task, but at the same time I was very curious and interesting what it can turn out of this. And my curiosity won, even if it was very challenging. So my curiosity won, and I started from the scratch. So first 2 months, really, to be honest, they were the toughest months I ever had. So to preparing all the plan activities to rechange, to see how it can be changed, it was difficult, and I felt very lonely there. But the partners from across the Europe, they were supporting me and spending a lot of time with me. So that's how we ended up that these 2 months were a success, and partners couldn't believe that it couldn't work. So what we've done? So I've sent invitations to 136 principal investigators. Out of them, 23 started to be part of this program. We had 9 months of trainings, and all the program where over 91% of participants earned open science skills certificates, where 95% of trainers later implemented these courses in their institutions. So more than 200 researchers were trained across Lithuania. And so it's became kind of the movement, and more of our trainers shared their knowledge and this knowledge became openly accessible. So Opus project became for us not just metrics, it was opening our mindset and heart. I know that I'm finishing in 30 seconds, okay? So just, I wanted to add more. So what made it that this movement became the movement of ambassadors of openness? So our vision is open science is not just structured, it's human. And Lithuania requires that all publicly funded research must be open by 2030. But beyond data, we took in mind well-being of researchers by creating safe space and support this in this transformation. So when you are talking about openness, you mostly talk also about vulnerability. And in Lithuania, it's more than only about research access. It's about connection and transformation. And true openness happened when researchers really started to trust policymakers, when we sit down by the one table, and it took few months already that we will have constructive dialogue burning. So we see really this Opus strong community became a force for change of seeing openness in Lithuania. And I'm very thankful to all my partners, to Opus advisory board members, these 4 nice ladies, Vaiva, Gerinta, Justina, and Agla. They were standing to me day by day through 9 months journey. And thank you to all amazing researchers that was part of this journey. And also to all the partners abroad who were spending all the long evenings to explaining and supporting me in becoming part of this nice journey. So alone, you can do a lot, but only with a team you can conquer the world. So let's keep building the world where the knowledge flows freely, minds stay curious, hearts are open, and collaboration becomes our common language. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Julia. I think that there are many impressed faces here hearing your determination with this project. Thank you so much for everything that you do to advance open science and especially for your determination, I think, in the presence of some of the doubts that you were facing along the way. I think Perrine's comment in the chat window, we knew it was impossible, but we did it anyway. Also reminded me of another comment, it seems impossible until it's done, which is the former President Nelson Mandela. So well done on the determination and for moving it forward.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think, Igor, just want to add, so to be honest, there was moments when I wanted to leave it, but I had smart partners who said, let's sleep over the night and let's see tomorrow. So tomorrow became better.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that honest feedback there, Julia. That's important for everyone to know, right? So build supportive community around you as you're trying to advance big ideas. Yeah, that's important as well. Yeah. Thank you very much. And so I'm going to now hand over, well, actually, I'm going to start sharing again from my side, because we are going to move over to a special project that is going to be presented by Alexis Kaufmann, who is coming from the French Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. And this specific project was also nominated for the Open Education Awards for Excellence. Why this is special is, well, because we don't really hear about open education developments all that much at the primary and secondary educational level, and less so even when it is supported by relevant ministries and countries. So Alexis, it was a pleasure to meet you for the first time in person in September, and thank you for returning here today to talk about this important initiative that the ministry has been working on.
Hello, can you hear me well? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm really sorry, but I'm doing 2 things at once because I have another meeting going on in France. We have a new Minister of Education who just arrived, so sorry. But from what I've heard, I'm impressed by my colleagues' projects, and I thank OEGlobal for making them better known to us. Vilnius as an open school initiative is very, for instance, it's very inspiring. So thanks for all that, and thanks for the invitation. Short, my name is Alexis Kaufmann, and I'm a Digital Commons project manager at the French Ministry of Education. I could talk at length about the open education priority of our digital strategy, but since I was told to keep it short and sweet, as we said, I decided to focus on one of its projects, and here is its story. So once upon a time, some teachers on the left created digital application and resources for their students. No, you can there is just 2 slides. Yeah, you can remain on that slide. all along. Okay, so they created resources for their students, but it didn't always work. But when it did, they decided to share them with their colleagues under an open source license. Because yes, among the million of French teachers in primary and secondary school, we have digital and IT talents with a sharing spirit. That's good, yes, but these projects were isolated, individual, and the source code was mostly located on GitHub, owned by Microsoft in the US. So 2 years ago, the ministry invited them to work and share their source code on a sovereign alternative, a GitLab instance hosted and maintained by the ministry. It's our workshop. You can see it on the right. Okay, that's good. They migrated and came. Yes, but it's even better if these teacher developers talk to each other. So we created a space on our public open source instant messaging services called CHAP, and based on the Open Protocol matrix, if you know it. And this is our Agora. That's good. Okay, there are now connections between the projects, and we also see now new projects that are born directly in the Forge. But we also need to bring in the teachers who used them, because they are the ones we work for. So we created a website to present the resources, and it's our store, our free store. And by bringing together teachers who create resources and those who use them, by building bridges so that user teachers become creator teachers, the projects become more numerous, better known, more collaborative, and of higher quality. There are currently nearly 5,000 projects shared in our workshop. I would have liked to detail some of them for you, but that will be for the next time. I will still mention one, Primtux, which is a Linux distribution designed by and for our primary school teachers, and which completely replaces Windows, while also allowing our old computers to work. Anyway, now that these resources are in the same place, it's also easier for the ministry to identify the best ones, to support them and help them improve and scale up. When we proposed the project to my ministry, they didn't believe in it. They said, oh, it's a geek and nerd thing, it's too complicated, it won't work. And yet it worked with 5,000 resources in less than 2 years. And now we have more and more teachers creating and sharing resources, and some created now using AI. Okay, so that's the Forge today, a workshop to create open educational resources, a store to use them, and an Agora so that those who create and those who use them can form a community. And next and last slide, please. And yet building a community is what's most important. So thank you for your attention. And as we say here, may the Forge be with us.
Merci beaucoup. Merci cordialement, Alexis. And yes, it seems like another case of it seems impossible until it's done. So well done for pushing forward with this initiative. And again, it's wonderful to see this kind of initiative at the ministerial level, and especially targeting primary and secondary education. So well done. And we will be sharing some of those links in the chat afterwards, and also on the OEG Connect spaces for more information to everyone. We are going to have one additional. Merci beaucoup, Alexis, and good luck with the meetings. And hopefully your Minister of Education is going to stay for at least a week, and then good luck with all of the activities.
Okay, I hope so.
And okay, now handing over to our one additional speaker, that's Joran from Germany, who is going to talk about some specific initiatives that he has been working on and advancing in Germany to advance open educational resources agenda. Joran, over to you, please.
Thank you, Igor. I started my time. Igor encouraged me to talk about the OER camp. This is like my home base, but it seems not the modest way to start with your own project when you have 5 minutes to talk about activities in a country. So I'm starting with what's happening on the national scale. Igor, next slide, please. What's probably important is I'll talk about the activities from our government, but not on behalf of our government. So I'm a huge fan of their activities, but of course, I'm speaking from an external point of view. So we have seen a national strategy on OER published in 2022, which was, I think, really a huge milestone for OER in Germany. And we've seen some public funding coming along with us. There are it's not a consistent picture because, you know, we have the federal system. But I think if you count everything together, it's probably in the very low 2-digit millions of public funding. From the national level, it's more focused on schools, and on the federal level, on the Länder even, it's more on higher education. And I think if you just could take away one or two things, it's probably that it's really helpful for open education if you have some kind of professionalizing the work. So like a new division of labor, that teachers or lecturers are not expected to do everything to publish their own open educational resources, but probably do, I don't know, like 80 or 90% focus on what's their professional job, focus on the content, and have other people, like sometimes it's only one person for one higher education institution, to focus on how it's published and distributed. So we see some kind of mainstreaming. Next slide, please. The one-year perspective is some, I don't know, it's not really a stop, but it's some things clarifying up in the moment right now. So we had a new government and they split up the national ministry. So we now have two national ministries for education and for research. The one is for research and space, basically. And the other one is more on focus on education, together with other topics like family. And the questions of open educational resources have gone with a family ministry. So it's basically connected to activities for technology in school. Mm-hmm. One thing that's interesting, I think, for the international debate is Germany is very much focused from this OER strategy on open educational practices. When I was in Dubai, I learned that this is very German way to discuss things today. What's also new to the old timers like Sandra Schön and Markus Deimann, who have spoken before and have been to the field of OER a long time before I was there, is that really with the new fundings, there are many newcomers to this field. And that's interesting because we haven't seen this before. So we're trying to learn how to arrange this, that it's really a productive way to work together with people who are now new to the debate, because the years before this, it was basically, I don't know, grassroots growth. And now we see many people that are really new to the debate. Last slide. I think it's the last slide. Yes, this is the project I can speak on behalf of and my own perspective. I'm on the team called the OER Camp. The OER Camp have been around since 2012, and they are not actually focusing on some specific content, but of the format of people coming together and sharing their knowledge. So the OER Camp is mostly based on the format of a bar camp where everyone can come to the table and bring in their own questions, their own topics for parallel sessions. And this is taking place in Germany once a year. It's very important for building the community, for growing the community. And for the second time in this year, we have an OER Camp Global coming up together with UNESCO. and this will be in November. And I would think that everyone who could be interested in OEGlobal would also be interested in OER Camp Global. And you can not only register there, but bring in your own sessions, because the program, the schedule is built by the participants themselves. So maybe you can take a look at it at oercamp.global. 5 minutes, I made it.
Perfect. Very well done, Joran. Thank you very much, and thank you for the history of your activities in Germany, which have been plentiful. But you have really made your mark in terms of advancing open educational resources and our practices. So really appreciate all of the work that you do. And just to encourage everyone here as well to please check out OER Camp Global as well. I think, as we understand, it's a 24-hour-long event, right? So you can really just pitch your sessions. It's not too constrained, or it's not too difficult to suggest your sessions. And we will also share those links in the chat window on how to register and how to find out more about the event. And we hope to see many of you there also in November. So this, thank you very much, Joran, again, Dankeschön. And this basically concludes our session with the snapshot presenters or lightning presenters. Thank you very much to all of you again. Really appreciate everything that you do, and thank you for sharing, and especially congratulations to all of those that have been nominated for the Open Education Awards for Excellence. We obviously do also encourage you to attend the session on Friday, which is when we will be revealing the winners of the Open Education Awards. Our board president, Perrine, here is going to be present as well, together with my colleague Marcel Morales and Alan Levine. And there will be a stream, and you will be able to watch YouTube stream, I hope, on Friday. So please join that session specifically on Friday as well. But more importantly, today we are going to still have another session starting in about 2 hours from now, and that's another tour. So we are now going to be cycling through Africa. And we do welcome all of you to come to this session if you can. We have got an impressive array of speakers again, in the same way like we had today. And then tomorrow we are going to, and this specific Africa tour is at 2 o'clock Central European time. And so it's a 90-minute long session. And then tomorrow we are having the focus on Latin America and North America. And then, as I already mentioned, on Friday, it's the Open Education Awards. Just a few reminders. This is already what I talked about. So it's the Open Education Awards for Excellence on Friday, 17th of October. And also just to invite you for Open Education Week, which is going to be March 2 to 6 in 2026. So please diarize these events. We are going to be issuing the call for participation in the next month or two. Open Education Week is basically a global celebration of the open education activities worldwide. Yeah. We also want to pitch our conference, one of the conferences that we do, which is an in-person conference typically, but in this particular case, the format is going to be different, which is the Open Education Global Conference 26. It's going to be hosted, co-hosted together with us, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and the Massachusetts OER Advisory Council. It's going to take place in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It coincides with the 25th year anniversary of MIT OpenCourseware. They basically incubated this entire movement. So we do really encourage you to consider attending the conference. It's going to be both. It's going to be in person and hybrid format as well. So online participation and presentation formats will be enabled. That specific conference will take place October 7 to 9, 2026. And here we go. So I'm going to stop sharing now and just want to thank everyone for your participation. I'm not sure if Perrine or my colleague Jan would like to say any concluding remarks from your side.
Well, this is just the beginning and not the end.
Yeah, exactly. It's thank you very much to all of you. We really appreciate your participation and all of that you do to actually advance openness. Yeah, more importantly. So this again, this is not the end. This is a conversation starter. So again, please find all of those links on OEG Connect, where you can continue conversations, and we really do encourage you to participate in the upcoming tours as well. Thank you all. Bon voyage. See you in the Africa tour in about 2 hours from now.
Thank you so much.
Brussels this afternoon, but
see you.